Not one, not two, but three McCalls 8067s. Hello and welcome. I'm Akram Birth, and you're watching Akram's Ideas, bringing creative and crazy ideas to life. I have for you a pattern review of McCall's 8067. This is a top pattern that came out earlier this spring, and I have been very eagerly wanting to make this top. So without further ado, let's get into the review. So you may recall that back in springtime I had done a big McCall's Buttrick pattern haul, and I had even gone to several different Joann's in order to find this pattern, and they didn't even have it during the Joann sale. Luckily, the following week Hobby Lobby had a $1.99 McCall's pattern sale, and I finally got myself a hold of 8067. Which, interestingly enough, before making this pattern, now, like I said, this came out in early spring, and it is got the new packaging, and it's also got the hashtag Live McCalls. I wanted to see if other people had made it. I mean, it was a fairly new pattern at the time that I got it, so I went on pattern review hoping that maybe one or two people had whipped it up. However, what I actually discovered is that this is not a new pattern. This actually came out a year or two ago under the number 7629 as a summer pattern. It has the same model and illustration, just the old packaging. And I found that very interesting that McCall's would re-release the same pattern so close in year, and also to totally change the number of it. It was kind of weird to me as well. But because they had already released it as 7629, I was able to get on pattern review and read some reviews of it. So the pattern has 3 or 4 different views. So it has a view A, which is the collarless version, and it's a cropped version. View B, which is the full-size version, and again the collarless. View C is the full-size version, and I should say all of these have short sleeves. So View C has the collar. It has the option to do breast pockets and short sleeves. And then finally View D is the same as View C, only with long sleeves that come to a gather and have a cuff. So for me, the big appeal of this pattern is that I felt, well, some could say that it has a little bit of a 70s vibe to it. I felt like it had a little bit of a 40s vibe as well. So I felt like this was kind of those loose-fitting type dress shirts that, you know, back in the 1940s, women could wear to work if they were working in a factory or someplace like that. I also felt like it had a little bit of that casual afternoon feel, you know, something maybe like Katharine Hepburn would wear with some high-waisted trousers. I felt like it had that nice relaxed fit. And what I really liked about this is, I have mentioned in some of my past videos, I'm still really looking for the TNT t-shirt pattern. And while this is by no means a t-shirt in the general sense, it has no fitting around the bodice part. There's no bust starts, there's no gathering, nothing. It's very boxy, and it's got this loose fit to it. And so for me, I thought this was kind of an ideal solution for a TNT t-shirt, because one, it's woven, and I've got a ton of woven fabrics that I need to do something with. 2, it's got a collar, and there's something about a collar that I just think makes it look a little bit dressier. So even though I wanted something quick and relaxed to run around in, if I have to make my way up to campus, or if I'm going to be in a place where I know that students are, I want to look a little bit more professional, I can still be kind of in a t-shirt, but still have that button down, put together look. And so I really like the possibilities of this pattern as a TNT kind of t-shirt, go-to t-shirt pattern. So starting off, I decided it is summer, and I made this in May, so it was getting warm, to try to do the short sleeve version and see if I could make it work. So, given the finished garment measurements, well, let's just say, given the pattern measurements, ideally, my measurements put me at a size 20. So that's a full bust of 42, a waist of 34, and a hips of 44. My hips are 43, but that would have worked. So I should have cut a 20, really. But the finished garment measurements, and measuring, does it even have the finished measurements on here? Yeah, the finished bust measurement for the 20 was like 50 inch. I mean, that's like 8 inches of ease. That was huge. I wanted a relaxed fit, but I didn't want to be swimming in it. So I looked at my, typically on Big 4 patterns, I will always make size 16. Because a size 16 is a 38 bust, and it usually has about 3 inches to 4 inches of ease. And so it fits pretty well. So I ended up making a size 16 for this version here. And I made a straight size 16. This is some strawberry quilting cotton that I had in my stash. I absolutely love this fabric. And I had just enough to eke out the cropped version, which is technically version A, but I also managed to get the collar because I knew I wanted the collar on this top. So this is size 16, and right away, while I love it, I've worn this top to death, there are some problems with it. Let's start with the loves. The loves, I love the collar. I love the way this collar is inserted. For whatever reason, the way that the two-piece collar meets is a little bit nice. It's probably the nicest instructions that I've ever had about putting the two collar pieces together. And the two collar pieces are put together prior to sewing it onto the blouse. So I really love the construction of that. I really love just the way that it comes down at the top here. I really like it all. There is supposed to be a top stitching down the placket. I didn't add that. I felt like it gave it a little bit more leisurely look with that top stitching. And so I just omitted it. I just kept the placket kind of clean. What I don't like about the size 16 fit. So first off, and this has been annoying me for quite a while, and you may have seen it when I did my 7313 knit dress, which was another McCall's pattern, is that I felt like the dress was falling off of me, and I had the same problem here. I found that my shoulder seam is like way off. I mean, just off of my shoulder. My shoulder point is way up here. I mean, this is a good inch and a half off my shoulder. So I knew that it was kind of not setting on the shoulders properly. That was my biggest thing, and it is a little tight across the back, but what was really bothering me was the shoulders, and because of the shoulders, I feel like the collar is a little stretched or a little pulled. And while I put the buttons in the location according to the pattern, I feel like I need another button or something, and I think that's more or less because I feel like the collar is being pulled. So this was my first version of the top. Now here is my second version of the top, and what I ended up deciding to do is that
to see more episodes like this, be sure to click the like button, subscribe to Akram's Ideas, and hit the bell icon to get notified of new episodes.
Based on the first version, the only change that I did make to the first version, besides cutting the straight 16, is I did increase the sleeves by 5/8 of an inch at a full bicep adjustment, because I already knew that the sleeves were going to be too tight. So I went ahead and kept the sleeves the same. So to adjust the issues with my shoulders, I looked at a bunch of different fitting books. One of the fitting books that I actually have in my collection is Fitting with Confidence by Nancy Zieman. And basically, in that book, she says to measure your, basically armpit to armpit, And whatever measurement you are, if you are 14 inches, then you should just make a size 14 at the shoulders. And then every half inch up or down, go up or down a pattern size. So according to my measurements, I am 13 and a half from armpit to armpit. So that means technically I should make a size 12, which isn't going to fit the bust or anything. And then you're supposed to do a full bust adjustment after that. But I decided to try to do some sort of hack. One, I didn't actually have the pattern packet that had the size 12. I only have the pattern packet that has the 14 to 22. So I went ahead and went down to a 14. And what I did, this is what I did. I graded out and I marked the size 14 for the shoulder and for the collar part. And then on the side, I basically still did the size 16. And then in the armhole, I did the armhole as a size 16 and sort of pivoted the pattern to line back up with the shoulder seam. This sort of worked. I think it addressed my shoulder issues. You can see here, if I move my hair, my shoulder seam is sitting about a half inch from where it needs to be. So it came in quite, because before it was like 1.5 inches or something. I mean, something dramatic. So I think if I had the size 12 and brought it in just that much more, it would be right on my shoulder point. So that fixed that problem. Now, for the second version, again, I've used this lovely cotton in my stash. I absolutely love this one. I love the lightweightness of it. This is a lighter weight, not necessarily a quilting cotton. I would say it's more of an apparel cotton. But this is just so cool and breezy, and I absolutely adore it. So I did the size 14 in the collar, size 14 in the shoulders, 16 everywhere else. I used the same size 16 sleeves with the bicep adjustment, and I was happy with it. I was so happy with it that I went ahead and cut another one before really wearing this one, because I'd fixed the shoulder issues, so I was happy. But what happened with this one and the next one that I'll show you is that I've got some tightness across the back. If I'm sitting still, if I'm just working on the computer all day, you know, it's not a big deal. What I finally discovered after making this one, I'd already cut out the other one, is that if I'm cleaning or moving my hands up any which way, so if I roll here, you can see maybe, it's tight across the back. I feel like I might accidentally rip the shirt. It only really happens when I raise my hands. So I'm trying to figure out what I need to do with that one. The version that I made for this one is the version C without the breast pockets. I don't really care for the breast pockets look. But I made it with the longer version because I had more fabric and the short sleeves again. So let me go ahead and share with you the last version that I made. Here is the last version that I made, which was actually the first version that I wanted to make. So I had pulled out this fabric. This is another, like I said, lightweight apparel cotton, kind of like a cotton lawn, but I feel like it's a little thicker than a cotton lawn, but it could be a variation of cotton lawn, of this cream colored fabric with little clovers all over it. I had pulled this fabric out initially to make this out of, and I was worried that I was going to make a mistake. Even though I had like 4 yards, I've still got plenty of this fabric. I should have just went with it. But I didn't. So I went ahead and make this one last, and went with the strawberry one first. But this one, like I said, is the same as the second one. I cut a 14 at the shoulders and around the collar, and the collar is size 14, and then everything else is a 16, and the sleeves has the bicep adjustment. So I was getting kind of frustrated at this point because while I really like how it fits here, it could come in just a hair more. So really like a 12, kind of like that Nancy Zeman book references that maybe I should have done a size 12 at the shoulders, but of course I didn't have it, so maybe I need to come in a little bit more. But more importantly, I was trying to figure out what's the deal with my back. So my husband takes a look at it, and I don't know if you can even tell in the footage, but I have a little bit of the back raising up from the top. And I had this problem with my knit dress as well. And my husband's like, oh, well, that's to accommodate the curve of your back. And I'm like, what? So he indicates that I have a slight curve to my back. So I decided to test this. So I went and looked up the back curve adjustment. And I saw a video on how to take that measurement. So I had my husband help me. And as a fact, I do have about a 1/2 inch curve on my back. So I need to make a high rounded back adjustment on my pattern. I haven't done that yet, but I think that will fix some of the tugging on the blouse. And if I do that, I think I need to also address the issue with the seam going towards the back. It needs to come forward some. So I need to add to the back seam and take away from the front seam. And that's all by the curvature. Now, again, I don't think that's going to fix the issue with the tightness in the back. It might. And I want your guys' opinions out there. But I'm wondering if I need a broad back adjustment. And I find that kind of weird, having brought it in at the shoulders, that I would need a broad back adjustment, but it feels like I might. Again, it's just, you know, I want to be able to clean and move and put stuff on high shelves, and I just feel like I can't with the tightness that is in the back at the moment. So I would love to hear your opinions on what adjustment I should make. I think the shoulder adjustments were successful. Another thing I read, and again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions, is that it could be that the sleeves are too tight. And again, the sleeves don't feel tight when I'm kind of at rest and everything, only when I lift up. Now, the sleeve adjustments that I made is I only added about 1 inch. Well, I added 5/8, but basically that's 1 inch of ease to my arm. And I read that really you need 2 inches of ease around your arm to be able to move properly. So maybe I just didn't add enough to the sleeve when I made that adjustment. Because again, I've only made it 1 inch larger than my arm. So, and I have weird arms because my left arm is like 1 inch bigger than my right arm. And so I always have to remember to measure my left arm and not my right arm, or else the left arm will be too tight. So it's kind of a weird situation. But yeah, so like I said, this is only about 1 inch of ease, which I'm wondering if I needed more, because I read that that could cause some pulling in the back. But is that going to fix my problem, or do I still need that broad back adjustment? What do you think? So I'd love to hear your opinions, because I love this shirt. Like I said, I made all 3. I've worn them all the time. I like wearing them with jeans, with shorts. I can even pair them with some of my trousers. I can wear them with skirts, and I just really like the comfortable t-shirt vibe I'm getting from it without wearing a t-shirt. So I feel like this is my ideal t-shirt. Well put together, but loose and comfy at the same time. And it would be more comfy if I figure out this tight back situation. So again, I want to know your thoughts and opinions. Have you made this pattern? What did you think of it? What do you think about my fitting issues? Am I on the right path? Do I need to make different adjustments? What do you think I can do to solve these issues so that I can make this my TNT? Overall, I think this pattern is excellent. It comes together great. The instructions are excellent. I really love it, and I want to love it more. If only I can get these fitting issues addressed. So again, if you could leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below, I'd really love to hear them. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Akram's Ideas, and thanks for watching.
Akram's Ideas bringing. Let me do that again. I have a pattern review. Again, if you could leave your thoughts and comments, my thoughts and overall opinions. Let me do that again.